Well, AOC, and let me know if you believe this, is saying that MAGA Republicans are coming up to her and say, man, I was wrong about Trump. I'm with socialism now. Do you buy that?
Absolutely not. In fact, I'd like to see some of the people who actually said that to AOC and check their ballots and see if they actually voted for President Trump, because I can assure you MAGA Republicans oppose everything that AOC and the modern day Communist Democrat Party stands for. Mass migration and open borders like we saw under the Biden administration.
According to AOC, a significant number of MAGA voters are abandoning Trump and lining up behind Democrats and the DNC for the 2028 election.
Men and women's sports is something MAGA Republicans and frankly the whole country rejects. It's a 90-10 issue, taxing people to death and taking their money and giving the majority of your income back to the government. That's a horrible idea that has not worked for thousands of years.
Karoline Leavitt outright rejects the claim, saying AOC is completely wrong and firing back with one of the fiercest clapbacks of the year.
I fully welcome Trump voters into our coalition. And I know that sounds crazy to some people, but just hear me out. I cannot tell you, it just happened to me like 2 weeks ago. I can't tell you how many times someone has pulled me aside and said either I was once a big Trump voter and a Trump supporter, but then I started to kind of expand my world and where I got information, and now I've learned, and now I've changed, and I'm with you.
That was AOC's message when she took to social media, and her telling, many Trump voters stick with him for one simple reason. They sit in front of Fox News all day, absorb the talking points, and never think for themselves in her world. It has nothing to do with financial pressure under Biden's soaring grocery bills, painful gas prices, or rent that's become nearly impossible to afford. No. Not that she also dismisses the idea that Trump's support has grown in response to a wave of woke policies coming from the Biden administration, policies many Americans see as disconnected from real life. For AOC, it's all about media-induced brainwashing, plain and simple. But that smug explanation didn't go unanswered. Karoline heard AOC's remarks and refused to let them slide. What followed was a sharp, no-holds-barred rebuttal that flipped AOC's narrative on its head and exposed the arrogance behind it.
The president just dealt with Chuck Schumer, and President Trump and Republicans shellacked Chuck Schumer and the entire Democrat Party. After 43 days of Chuck standing out there trying to bravely hold the country hostage and inflict massive pain on the American public, Chuck got absolutely nothing, and now the knives are out for him. As you can see, Jesse, as you just perfectly laid out in your monologue, the Democrat Party is in complete disarray, and the truth is, they have been for 10 years since President Trump came on the political scene.
And that's hard to argue with. The DNC has appeared unsteady ever since Trump announced he was running again. From that moment on, it's been one frantic move after another, with strategy giving way to confusion. That chaos helps explain the endless accusations thrown his way, followed by flashy investigations and courtroom battles that promised bombshell revelations but ultimately delivered very little. It explains the Russia collusion saga that dominated headlines for years, a story many Republicans argue never lived up to the Democrats' claims. It also explains the constant stream of insults and dismissive labels, as if mockery could ever substitute for a strong argument. And yet, through the scandals, the trials, and the media firestorms, nothing ever sticks. Time and again, the attacks have failed to shake Trump's base or slow his momentum. If anything, they seem to harden his support and reveal just how rattled his critics have become.
They don't stand for anything good. They just stand for Donald Trump is bad. That's the only thing that unifies their party. And now you see how far they are moving to the left. They ran Senator Gillibrand and Senator Manchin out of town. Now they're running Chucky Schumer out of town. It's too bad he turned into a Palestinian. He did it for nothing, like President Trump says, because his own party is turning against him. And the Democrat Party is truly becoming a full-blown communist party.
Karoline goes straight at Democratic Party leadership, accusing them of losing control of their own base. She argues the party has shifted so far left that even longtime power brokers like Chuck Schumer now seem out of sync with the activists they once led. In her view, the most extreme factions have seized control instead of leaders setting priorities. It's the loudest and most radical voices online and in the streets calling the shots. Karoline says Democratic officials are now being pushed aside in real time for not being woke enough. One poorly chosen word, one hint of moderation, and they're instantly branded sellouts or traitors to her. This infighting reveals a party eating itself alive, obsessed with purity tests instead of governing. And as Democrats turn on one another, she says voters are watching, with many quietly backing away from a party that no longer seems to know what it stands for.
Men in women's sports is something MAGA Republicans and frankly the whole country rejects. It's a 90-10 issue. Taxing people to death and taking their money and giving the majority of your income back to the government. That's a horrible idea that has not worked for thousands of years. MAGA Republicans know it, and that's why they overwhelmingly voted to re-elect President Trump.
Karoline then dismantles AOC's claim that MAGA voters secretly regret supporting Trump. She doesn't wave it away, she challenges it directly, demanding proof, names, numbers, and hard evidence. According to her, none of it exists. Instead of leaning on vague anecdotes or social media myths, Karoline explains why millions of Americans supported Trump in the first place. It wasn't random, it was a reaction, a backlash against aggressive woke agendas pushed by the DNC that left everyday voters frustrated and alienated. Many opposed men competing in women's sports, questioned medical transitions for minors, and grew uneasy with the party's drift toward open socialism. Karoline makes one thing clear: ignoring these concerns won't make them disappear, it will only drive more voters away. And if Democrats stay on this course, she warns, the consequences will be severe.
MAGA Republicans know it, and that's why they overwhelmingly voted to re-elect President Trump. And a Democrat that you had in your monologue actually was right about one thing. I don't know his name, but I give him credit for his statement where he said that the Republican Party under President Trump is the party of the working man and woman. And because of President Trump's pro-growth, America First policies, he has spoken directly to the hearts of the forgotten men and women across this country. And that's who the Republican Party is today, thanks to him.
Karoline hits the mark, and this is the reality Democrats still refuse to face. Trump didn't win by chasing Twitter approval or elite praise. He spoke directly to middle America, to swing voters, and to people who felt ignored, patronized, and squeezed from every direction. He tapped into working-class frustration, concerns about jobs, prices, safety, and stability using language people actually understood. Meanwhile, the DNC focused heavily on coastal elites, corporate donors, and the loudest woke voices online. Instead of addressing kitchen table issues, voters were met with lectures, labels, and moral grandstanding. That disconnect mattered. When ordinary Americans felt dismissed or mocked, Trump made them feel seen and heard. Even if they didn't agree with him on everything. Elections aren't won with virtue signaling or polished slogans, they're won by connecting with real people living real lives, and that's where Trump succeeded and the DNC failed.
Well, we'll have to see, and I'm very curious. I'll have to find out from our great Attorney General Pam Bondi if the Trump DOJ is continuing this investigation that the Biden DOJ launched. Jesse, it's a good question, and we will get on that. But as for Gavin Newsom, I was not surprised to see him in Brazil, traveling the world, probably on the taxpayer dime, talking about climate change when his state, California, has some of the highest energy costs in the entire country.
Karoline also takes aim at Gavin Newsom, calling out what she describes as blatant political hypocrisy. She criticizes him for constantly preaching about saving the planet while presiding over one of the most expensive energy markets in the country. Karoline argues it's easy to deliver climate lectures from a podium while ordinary families struggle to pay crushing electricity and gas bills just to keep the lights on. She says Newsom's green agenda may sound good on paper, but in real life it collapses, especially for working-class Californians who can't afford solar panels, electric vehicles, or other costly alternatives. Instead of making life greener, she contends, these policies are making it harder and more expensive to live. To Karoline, it's a textbook case of elite disconnect. Politicians pushing feel-good environmental rhetoric while regular people shoulder the financial burden.
They have some of the highest gasoline prices in the entire country, despite President Trump's efforts. And they are working to bring down oil and gas prices in this country, to drill, baby, drill, to unleash American energy dominance. Gavin has done so much damage to his state with the Green New scam and with this utopian pursuit of climate change that is just so false. It's built on a fallacy that he has run up energy costs in his state that people are fleeing his state.
Karoline says the warning signs are impossible to ignore. Families and businesses are leaving California in growing numbers, fed up with crushing taxes, endless red tape, and suffocating bureaucracy for small business owners. Every day is an uphill battle. Permits, compliance costs, and massive tax bills stack up until staying no longer makes sense. Meanwhile, Karoline argues, Newsom appears unfazed. Instead of easing the pressure or rethinking policy, he doubles down, tightening the squeeze in pursuit of political goals and optics. The outcome is predictable: businesses relocate to states with lower taxes, fewer regulations, and more welcoming environments. Karoline calls it a clear failure of leadership. Jobs leave, communities weaken, and tax bases shrink. Yet California's leaders act perpetually shocked by results anyone could see coming at some point, she says. Denial stops being leadership and starts looking like indifference.
So maybe he should leave Brazil and stop talking about this issue that is hurting his own people and get back to governing what was once a beautiful state of California that people are fleeing en masse because of his horrific energy and economic policies that have made the cost of living in California completely out of control.
Yeah, the climate scam's kind of like DEI. It's dead, and it's never coming back.
Karoline ultimately says what millions of Californians are already thinking. Gavin Newsom needs to stop chasing headlines and start focusing on what actually matters to the people he governs. That means confronting the crushing cost of living that forces families into impossible financial choices. It means cutting back bloated bureaucracy that drives up costs and strangles small businesses before they can succeed. It means expanding reliable energy production instead of pushing policies that make